Hello, everyone. I'm Jesus, and welcome to the next episode of The Road to Old School MTG. In this video, I have round 4 of the X Points tournament held at Dave's Time War in Cedar Grove, New Jersey in August 2024. This was a pretty well attended tournament, 22 players, and it ended up being 5 rounds. This is round 4. First 2 rounds I lost. I finally won on round 3, so this is going into round 4. So before we continue, let's take a moment to admire my opponent's playmat. I'm not gonna say where it's from. Hopefully, you guys, if you're a fan of old school Magic, you most likely know what this reference is. And let's see if you do know it. Put it in the comments. So let's start with the deck tech. Okay, so here I have a mid-range, nearly mono black deck. I have played X Points a lot and online, and I have usually done mono black weenie. So this is a departure for me. Still mono-ish black. The only non-black cards I have are 4 disenchants, and then I have the 4 scrublands to accommodate that, right? But other than that, I'm mono black. But I have a pretty decent component of artifacts. So first about the black creatures. So I have 23 lands, 1 Mox Jet, so which I consider like another quasi land, so 24 lands. So this deck is made to be a mid-range to late game deck. I want to consistently make a land drop every turn for the first 4 or 5 turns and ramp consistently. Hopefully order turn 2, hippie turn 3, or a Royal Assassin turn 4, Derelord turn 5. Send your Vampire, or turn 4 Derelord or Icy, right? So a lot of things. And then the Icy Manipulators are a good control component, which pairs excellent with the 2 Royal Assassins that I have. It pairs with the 2 Winter Orbs that I have, and it pairs with the 2 Howling Mines that I have, right? So, of course, those are great, let's say, against mono white if my opponent is playing Knights. Usually I cannot deal with that as mono black, right? But the ICs could help in that regard, right? Which it did help in my round 2 game where I played against mono white. But the main reason I wanted to do a mid-range deck is because actually of Hellfire, which is the card in the center. Hellfire is a 2 colors, 3 black sorcery. Destroy all non-black creatures in play. I take 1 damage per creature destroyed, plus 3, right? So definitely it could cost me a lot of life, but it could wipe the board except for my creature, right? Because I play only black creatures. I don't even have artifact creatures exactly for that point, or else they would also die to the Hellfire. I have 2 Drain Lives to hopefully counteract that loss of life from the Drain Life. In addition, I have 4 Upgrade Towers in the sideboard. That's the idea for that is mainly against burn decks. And actually in round 3, I went up against a burn deck, and Ivory Towers won me that game, right? So it's definitely that does work there. But Ivory Towers could also be against weenie decks, which are very aggressive, go all out and play everything and go wide. So that's where, if I play my cards right and may I hold back, at least my idea in my head is to gain some life from the Ivory Towers, take some hits, but then hopefully I can do a Hellfire, or I can stabilize, because of course my creatures are most likely going to be bigger than his creatures if they're playing Winnie, and then hopefully that's enough for me to stabilize and then start coming in. So I do have 8 flyers, right? I have 4 Sengers, 4 Hippies, so that is a good amount of flyers, and then I have the combos of Icy Royal Assassin and Icy Winter Orbs and Howling Mines. So now discussing my opponent, I do not have a deck picture for him, but he's playing a Goblins, mono red Goblins deck, and so he'll have a lot of goblins. He'll have Goblin Grenades. He also had Blood Moon, which is a great enchantment. It turns all non-basic lands into mountains, so then it'll negate a good chunk of my lands there, right? So I have 4 Scrublands, 4 Factories, 1 Strip Mine, 1 Orberg, right? So 4, 8, that's 10 lands. that the Blood Moon could affect. So he has that game plan, and then of course additional burn on top of the Goblin Grenades. So I may sideboard in the Ivory Towers game 2, and maybe even the Pestilence as well. So if they're playing Goblins, just weenie creatures, the Pestilence could be good against that. Right, other than that, we can start going into the games. We are starting with game 1. I'm on the left, opponent on the right. Opponent mode 1 time. I started with a Scrubland. He starts with a Mountain. Second turn for me, another Scrubland. I pass, and then he passes with a Mountain. So pretty uneventful first 2 turns, but turn 3 I drop a Swamp and play a turn 3 Hippie. And then he also has, very nice turn 3 for him, a Blood Moon. Don't mind the pizza. One of the players was kind enough to buy pizza for the whole gang on this tournament. Thank you to Jason. So now I only have 1 Swamp, which of course with me being mono black, or mostly mono black, that could be an issue, but thankfully I dropped that second Swamp. So this should leave me with the ability to cast most things. So I attacked, I discarded a Goblin Grenade, and then I cast a Derelo, right? So my opponent's at 18, his life total is in that beautiful Black Lotus giant die. So he's playing mono red, so it looks like most, if not maybe probably most or all of his lands are just basic mountains. So the Bad Moon doesn't affect him either at all or barely. So far it doesn't affect him at all. Okay, cast a Lightning Bolt, forks it, and then deals enough damage to destroy my Derelor. But I still got that Hippie in effect. It says 16. I discard a Mountain. Then I play another Swamp, so I'm getting fortunate. I bring it back. Wait, that was dumb. I got a Bad Moon there. So it didn't really matter. Okay, so 3 mana for a second Hippie, 2 colorless. Winter Orb, nice. Oh, actually then it wasn't dumb. It does matter because next turn I'm gonna untap 1 Swamp, and then I'll play my second Swamp, and then I can cast something. So actually, yeah, I'm not as dumb as I thought. So he plays a Goblin, and then he Goblin Grenades one of the Hippies. And then he has no cards in hand, so the Hippie discard effect has no relevance at the moment. Takes 2, no discard. So I have 2 Swamps open, but actually I didn't have anything else. Opponent untaps 1, plays a Swamp. I untap additional Swamp, so I got 3. I got 4 mana, I attack for 2. He's down to 12, I got 4 mana. I should be able to cast most things. But I guess I don't even have anything. Opponent plays a Goblin Artisans. So now I untap a Scrubland, but no, it's just a Mountain. I play a Strip Mine, which is just a Mountain. I attack for 2 more, it's at 10, so I'm coming in with flying. So red, other than Goblin Balloon Brigade, is not known for flying, at least when it comes to goblins. He plays this land, so yeah, he's getting very unfortunate, and I was getting very fortunate, right? So it's just the polar opposites in terms of luck. He's at 8, untaps 1, so he's waiting for a lightning bolt, a chain lightning, something was gonna up there. So wow, he had to sack do a Goblin Grenade again. But I will be basically winning now if those 2 Mishra's Factories were active, right? But because of the Bad Moon, that's not the case. Okay, I got an order. Opponent plays a Goblin, so the Flarg, I believe, just a Mountain Walk Goblin. So I do have mountains, of course, right? So he can come in with Mountain Walk because of the Bad Moon. But He's at 8. Yep, chumps blocks, and then I just first strike so it doesn't die. Place 1, another Goblin Man. I untap 1 swamp, I untap my order. So I got a Black Vice, which is not going to do anything. A Howling Mine, which since I got the upper hand, I don't want my opponent to start drawing more cards. And then Icy, so that Icy is definitely going to come into play because I can now tap his creature and come in for 2, 3, 4. He's at 4. But of course, because of the Winter Orb, I don't get an untap except for 1 land. But I can do the Winter Orb Icy combo. Ooh, he gets the Lightning Bolt. So good thing I came in for a good attack the previous turn. And then he's coming in for 1. I'm at 17. Once untap. So I see a Durlor in hand. So I let it pass. He untaps 1. Attack comes in for 1. I'm at 16. Cast a second Bad Moon just in case. Okay, and there I do my Winter Orb combo. Land, so here comes the Durlor, most likely, and then whatever, he's at 4. So even if he brings out a creature, I can tap with my Icy. So he has to destroy it. Okay, I tap a Mountain, which is good. It just helps. Okay, so I knew, okay, so I cannot tap his creature yet. But yeah, I think he knew I was going to tap the creature, and then if he doesn't have a way to kill the Durlor right there and then, I was just going to tap his creature and come in for 4 uncontested. So yeah, my opponent unfortunately got very little burn. The only burn he was getting consistently were the Goblin grenades, which forced him to sack his own creatures. So he had to 2-for-1 himself a couple times just so he wouldn't lose the game. So yeah, but you did see that Winter Orb Icy combo there in effect, which definitely helped things out. All right, so we're gonna go into game 2. I'm on the left, opponent's on the right. I mull 1, I believe. Yep. Opponent goes first. Mountain, Goblin, and then I go with Factory. Turn 2, he plays another land, attacks for 1. I'm at 19, I play a Strip Mine. I have no black. I don't know why I kept this in. Not wise. But oh, of course, I mulligan. So I didn't want to mulligan again. And since I guess I had some lands, I'm like, okay, I got some colorless at least. Which for mono black is not much. So he plays a Mountain, comes in for an attack. I'm at 18. Ooh, Black Lotus. He has a Shivan or something. Ouch. Comes in for 1. So I'm getting fortunate again. He doesn't have a Factory or anything. Or maybe he doesn't have it at all. Okay, Goblin Warrens. This is where you sack 2 goblins to get 3, and then this is can be played at instant speed, I believe. Well, I'll put it up on the screen. It's a very unique enchantment. Yep, you see, so unique. I had to refresh my memory. So I finally get a black through a Mox Jet. I pay 2 for a Demonic Tutor. I didn't notice what I brought in, but most likely I brought in just a swamp or something, because I need that second black mana to then start doing stuff. And I can play that swamp now because I didn't have a I Demonic Tutor for a land. Pretty sad, but at least now I do have what I need. Oh, good thing I brought that swamp. Wow, he destroyed my Mox Jet, which definitely he had to do. Okay, so right now I'm terrified that if he gets a second Goblin, because then he can start making more and more goblins, and then he can block, and then before combat he can sack to get even more goblins. So I've faced this before. It is very hard to deal with. Okay, so yeah, still no second goblins. He's just getting lands, and now I got a Darrowlord up. So I see a lightning bolt and a fork, so he might do that combo again, which I wouldn't blame him, because he has plenty of lands, so he's just one goblin away from having a horde of goblins. So I think this is still end of his turn. Yeah, there he goes. Lightning bolt, fork, Darrowlord's gone. Oh man, he's getting another mountain, man. Wow, got like, and then we see he has a Shatter Storm in his hand. So I guess, yeah, last turn I had the Icy and the Winter Orb. So yeah, this deck does have quite a bit of artifacts in it, at least, especially when it comes to mono black, which tends to have very little to no artifacts. All right, so 2 for an order. Place a land. Okay, so coming in for 2. I'm not sure if I'm gonna pump. No pumps. So I play an Orborg, and then yeah, I see a Sender in hand. Yeah. Oh man, he got another mountain. Wow. And then I'm not playing any artifacts and such. So I'm afraid he might do some kind of a expel, or just let's see. Since I got the upper hand here, I might not overcommit. Coming in for 6. Second. Ooh, I am overcommitting. Okay, let's see. Oh, he got a Soul Ring, which is, I mean, if he gets if he gets a Fireball or something, that's, he might have enough. Yeah, I think he does to destroy both Senders. So I'm coming in just and flying. 8. So, ooh, his life total is a bit out of range. I think it's at pretty low. Is at 2, I believe. But yeah, he got an Amon. But by that point, I'm coming in with flyers. So yeah, unfortunately, that's just bad luck from both times. Like he was flooded both games, and especially the second game, he had like one creature the entire game. And then even though I started out with low lands, actually no colored mana, I through the Demonic Tutor and then just luck, I was able to get the mana I needed, and then my hand was pretty stacked. I had Darrowlords, had 2 Senders, Vampires, and then he just kept getting lands. So that's too bad. And then yeah, we see the sideboard picks. For me, I put the Ivory Towers just because, of course, anytime I see red, I'm thinking burn. Plus goblins, it might be a goblin. Goblins tend to rush, right, and then overcommit and deal a lot of damage. So Ivory Towers can be good for that. And then you see that one Pestilence, which I didn't play. I didn't get. All right, so going into my deck again, the game plan worked well again, where I consistently do land drops. So only in game 2 I did get that consistent land drop. It's just the first 2 were colorless lands, Factory and a Strip Mine. But thankfully I got that Jet, which I was able to Demonic Tutor for basic Swamp, and then I got lucky and I got some more swamps after that, right? So I was, in general, both games I was consistently dropping lands and then consistently ramping, getting creatures starting from turn 3, I believe. But of course I could start even turn 1 if I get lucky. Swamp, a Dark Ritual, a Mox. I have gotten like a turn 1 Darrowlord as well, right? So that's possible, but in general, I tend to gradually keep on dropping threats. Turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5. Icy, to tap things out, and of course, unfortunately, my opponent was mana flooded both games, and then that just played straight into the positives of this deck, which is, like I said, the mid game. He wasn't doing anything early, which is partly how you win in a Goblin deck, right? Just early threats, finish the game off with direct damage, and then Goblin grenades. So quick game. The more you go into the mid to late game, the less likely a deck like that is going to survive. And that's the old polar opposite of me, where I want to go to the mid to late game. That's when my deck shines the most. Thank you guys for watching.